Hey everyone, today I want to talk about the next steps from contracting. Possibly you've been in the game for the last 10, 15, 20 years, or maybe you've just got into contracting. But as a pertinent question to ask. Now, for me, I've always said this is phase two of my portfolio career, and I'm stepping into phase three. Now, what does that specifically look like? Now, before I get into any of that stuff, if you're somebody who's working a 9 to 5 and looking to get into the contracting space, I think it's a great opportunity to really flex your entrepreneurial skills. What do I mean by this? The sort of skills that you develop is knowing how to negotiate, knowing how to be a fantastic problem solver, knowing how to find your own work, knowing how to manage your time, knowing how to manage your money better, being able to network and collaborate with different types of people towards a common goal and making sure that you survive, knowing how to survive. I've mentioned like 6 things here that are very beneficial when it comes to having or cultivating that entrepreneurial mindset. Now, of course, it doesn't cultivate other stuff that you may need. And of course, it depends on the niche that you're in, such as things more attributed to sales, marketing, etc., etc. But there is something around developing some sort of personal brand that enables you to develop those skills as well. And you can do that in so many different ways. And so, again, if you're a 9 to 5 in a permanent role working for a specific employer, then this is what you could be thinking about if this is something you want to do, if this is something you want to do to support a business idea that you have or a passion project or whatever it may be. So bear that in mind. Now, of course, in your 9 to 5, you need to be able to be in a position where you have substantial experience. Now, some people have said, including myself, that you can get into contracting without this substantial experience. And to be fair, you could, but it may mean that you start at the, I don't want to say the bottom of the food chain, but really you start in more junior roles, which is perfectly fine. If that works for you, that's okay, because some people just need contractors to come in to do certain tasks, whatever it may be. But you have to think about what your strategy is. What is your strategy? Are you doing it purely because you want to be able to, I don't know, quit your job or whatever it may be, or just quit a contract and move on to the next one and have a certain degree and level of flexibility based on your contracts? Or is it because you want to stack your cash because you know that, you're making one and a half, 2 times, maybe even 3 times more than you were in your 9 to 5? Or is it because you're trying to get specific skills? Why are you in this space? Why do you want to get into this contracting space? It is a really pertinent question to ask. If you're just doing it for money, okay, why? It needs to be a means to an end. And to say you're just doing it for money, are you prepared to do what it takes to get that money? Of course, you may get 400 a day, 600 a day, 800 a day, 1,000 a day, whatever it is. But how are you keeping that money? How are you utilizing that money? Are you just using that money to pay off bills? Are you utilizing that money to pay off subscriptions? And if you are paying off subscriptions, are they working towards a bigger, bolder, brighter future for yourself? Or is it just maintenance? Because if it's maintenance, there is an argument to possibly say that you might as well just stay within the whole sort of space of 9 to 5. Now, there's no right or wrong answer. I'm just trying to encourage you to think about it. Think about what is it that you're trying to do? Why do you want to get into the space? And the reason I ask this question is because I've had a lot of coaching clients over the years who, come to me with some sort of career transition need or problem or help, or say they want to become a contractor or do consulting, whatever it may be. But really what they're talking about is starting a business. They want to start a business. They want to be independent in that way. Now, of course, there is a fine line between contracting, consulting, and starting a business. And when I say consulting, I'm talking about independent consulting. But I think phase three of my life, at least, or phase three for other people, is starting a business. But if you haven't even done phase two, and if phase one isn't even locked down in terms of foundations based on experience, qualifications, being confident about talking about all the bright and beautiful things that you've done, then that's going to be difficult. That's going to be a very difficult thing to do, to transition into. Now, people do it. I'm not saying people don't do it. I'm talking about likelihood and probability and doing it in a scientific way that aligns to you and your personality. So let's say, for example, you've transitioned from 9 to 5 into contracting slash consulting, okay, but we'll call it contracting for ease sake. And you were doing the whole 9 to 5 thing within a specific industry for the last 5 to 10 years, as an example, okay? Maybe you have 1, 2, or maybe 3 qualifications, potentially, like solid ones, not Udemy ones. Then what happens is that within this contracting space, you start to build all this experience and all these skills and networks and blah, 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 blah. then you start tinkering with the light bulbs. You start thinking, okay, there's something I can do here. I'm developing a professionalism. I'm developing these entrepreneurial skills. Maybe I can be an independent a contractor or consultant, should I say. So I'm saying it like this because the independent consulting bit, if you watch my last video, is really pertaining to you helping individuals and or small business owners, as an example, or charities or whatever it may be, groups, to solve a specific problem. Now, I like to call them consultant creators or coach creators. Now, I add the coaching element because I'm a practiced and qualified coach, and I think it's really important to have those skills. I'm actually developing something where I'm going to be training people to have an accreditation when it comes to coaching. So if this is something you're interested in, then you can comment below, DM me on LinkedIn. But the point I'm making is that these consultant creators or these coach creators are individuals who have a personal brand. These are individuals who share their journey. These are individuals who talk about their values and you connect to them as a person. Again, I guess this is something that I'm trying to emulate, and this is why these ideas have come to play. I haven't necessarily heard of a coach creator or consultant creator. So if it's me who said it first, then great. If not, and I've absorbed it from somewhere else, whatever it may be, you get the drift. The point I'm making is these individuals are trying to cultivate this personality online through creation of content or materials or talks or whatever it may be, building that portfolio career that I consistently talk about in order for them to bring in business, to drive in business. And it's not some heavy sort of like proactive, I need your money sort of mentality. They may still be, again, contracting or doing all this other stuff. They may even be in a 9 to 5. That's perfectly fine. But the reason why, again, I advocate for contracting is because whether it's a bit riskier for most people, you have the ability to make money and make things happen quicker if you are sensible. And this is what I said before about, do you have what it takes? What I really mean is, are you happy to work Monday to Friday, day in, day out, usually remotely, whatever it may be, and consistently make that money and not having many breaks potentially, just so that you can stack cash to buy X, whether that is your property, whether that is to get a virtual assistant, or whether that is to get a nice shiny new software or subscription in relation to your business as a coach, creator, or whatever it may be. Okay. So the point I'm making is that think about why you're doing this stuff. And if you are trying to be a coach creator or consultant creator, then have a strategy behind it and share your stories, share your education, share what you know with people online, and then hopefully something will happen from there. I can talk more about my journey around that stuff if that is something that you're interested in. But this video was just really to get you to think about, why do you want to do contracting? What is the logical next step for me? Have that plan. I think the final thing I'll say is finances play a big part of this. Okay. If you don't know how much money comes into your bank account, you're missing out. You're missing out, I'm telling you. And so if you don't even know how much money you're making, you're also missing out, because you need to be able to measure things. What's not measured does not matter, so to speak. And I believe everything can be measured to a degree, even if it's qualitative or quantitative. So bear this stuff in mind. If this has struck a chord, if you've got some sort of comments or points of view that you want to portray, then leave it in the comments below. Really appreciate you guys. And again, if you want to see anything around life management, portfolio careers, or anything really centered around what I talk about, then feel free to comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. As always, my friends, understand, reach, and expand. Peace.